Hello there. So, this is the second video of the Mighty series of me losing weight over the next couple of months. And, well, here it goes. I realize it's been a bit longer than a week, but hey, I guess the important thing is that I actually upload something, right? Okay, so how is progress looking like? I think it certainly could be better. I started using MacroFactor because the UI seemed, quite nice. For me, the most important part is just being able to record, food in a quick and easy way, and it seems to does that. And additionally, it has quite nice UI telling you how the weight loss progression has been going. So I'm pretty sure anybody who tried weight loss, any kind of weight loss, knows that the annoying thing is that every other day your weight is fluctuating quite much. So it might be a bit disappointing when you're, just standing on the scale in the morning and it's just higher than before. And what the MacroFactor app does is that it does some rolling average, which is quite helpful just to see that, how the trends are looking. And if I'm looking at my data, certainly it's trending downwards, but the problem is that with this pace, I'm gonna reach my target weight when I'm 70. So obviously that's not what I want to do. So I need to do some changes basically. I thought that me just uploading videos by themselves is gonna be enough, but I should have learned from my past self when I already did this once. Maybe I uploaded 1 or 2 videos and then abandoned it. That sure, it's a great thing that I upload to YouTube and there is like a pressure externally. But the issue is that if nobody's really watching, it's like me shouting in the void, nobody really cares. So the pressure is not really there. Nonetheless, I'm gonna keep this, keep doing this, but this is just an interesting learning from me. And when it comes to like a bit more practical, next steps and changes, I already knew when I was thinking about the habits that I wanna follow that there was an elephant in the room, which is like calorie tracking. And actually the real elephant in the room is setting a maximum amount of calories I can consume each and every day. But I figured that since I'm so much over my weight, just applying a certain, let's say, easier behavior changes would already result in some, let's say, drastic changes in my weight, which is not true at all. So long story short, what are the changes? It's actually 3. The first one is now I actually need to track my calories. I'm still not setting like a hard calorie target, let's say 2100 calories per day or something similar. The first step is just me recording whatever I'm eating, just get to the habit of actually recording food. So that's one, and that is quite recent change. Another change which I did, so I already have the habit of like not eating any kind of candies or ice cream. But if I'm honest, there is like a guilty pleasure of mine, which is like pastry. Any kind, like you go to the grocery store and there are like all these kind of very great pastry products that you can buy, which, well, I'm really weak against. So that's a new practice, or new habit rather, that now I need to adhere to, is no more of that. And also there's a punishment, let's say, method which I implemented for myself, which goes basically that if my weight for 3 consecutive days is higher than my weight 4 days before, I need to go on a 24-hour fast. So this is subconsciously sort of telling myself that it doesn't make sense to cheat, because obviously nobody likes not eating for a whole day. All right, well, in addition to, let's say, building muscles and losing weight at the same time, I also want to build my cardiovascular, physique, health, whatever you want to call it. I think some people call this like hybrid athlete. Obviously, I'm very far of being hybrid athlete, but I really like the idea of someone just not only being like strong in the gym, but having functional muscles and a body to be able to like sprint fast or have some endurance. And to track that, the very first challenge that I'm actually doing is what have been a long, goal of mine for, well, since forever. It's a sub 25K. And well, with my weight and my conditioning right now, it feels very far away. So my intermediate goal is basically running 3 kilometers under 12 minutes, which also has been a long goal of mine. This is basically a Cooper test, if some of you are familiar with that. And for the longest time, I've never been able to complete that. I never been able to run at least 3 kilometers under 12 minutes. And obviously that's a requirement or prerequisite for the 5-kilometer run. So this all fits nice and well. So basically what I'm doing is every day I'm running at least 20 minutes and I'm always running 3 kilometers, but there is a difference. So I'm running every day just to make sure, my cardiovascular health is doing all right. And when I'm feeling like I'm not sore in my legs or I'm not tired, I try to do like a sprint. And one of my most recent sprint, I managed to do a speed of 12.7 kilometers per hour for 3 kilometers, which translated into like a 4:43, pace, minutes per kilometer, which is anything but impressive if I'm honest with myself. But at least the trend line there follows the same pattern. It's like decreasing follows the same pattern as my weight, that we are getting faster as we are losing weight. Again, the pace is, the change of times is not super impressive, and obviously, going to the sub 4 minutes per kilometer pace is going to be really difficult, especially once I do the 3 kilometers. There's still like another 2 kilometers which I need to complete in the same pace, but it helps me, I guess, it helps me being excited, and it keeps things interesting for me. So anyways, what's going to be happening in the next step, so in the next week or so? Again, I'm going to stick to tracking calories only, so no hard limit on the consumed calories. Obviously that's going to come, but let's see where I'm going to get to just by consciously paying attention to the numbers. Obviously, if I'm seeing that I already ate quite much, I'm probably not going to go over, or at least not that much. So let's see how it goes. As well, I'm also curious about the protein intake that I managed to get. I think I should shoot for something like 150, 160 grams of protein per day, which I'm not sure. I'm kind of sure that I'm not really hitting, but obviously that's going to be important as I start to lose weight. And some other things that I'm thinking about is that maybe I should go to the gym in the morning as opposed to like in the afternoon, just because in the morning you have more energy, and you can just like tick it off that, okay, I managed to do this in the beginning of the day when the energy is high, so I don't need to waste like mental energy trying to convince myself to go to the gym, after work. So that's something else. And just a minor thing, should I drink protein shakes or not? Again, I'm struggling with protein intake, but the problem is with protein shakes is that drinking calories in general is not really advised when you're in a calorie deficit. You don't want to drink your calories because you're already eating less. So I still need to figure out what I'm going to do on that front. But my main goal is that the trend line looks good. Again, we are decreasing the, let's say, rolling weight, which is great. The pace is not really there, so that's what I need to focus on. I don't need to go like super crazy, like it doesn't need to be like a sharp decline, because obviously that means that the muscle is also going, but it's a bit too comfortable, not comfortable, but it's a bit slow right now. Again, it's a sprint, not a marathon, sure, but there's a difference if you complete a marathon in 4 hours versus 8 hours. So let's see what I can do with this. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening, and see you later.